Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today we have a real stand-up guy who's totally dressed for success. It is Michael Songs.
Michael Songs, yeah!
And we're going to kick off the show with one of his tracks to get you all a little bit ready to go. This is Little Pond right about now.
I don't have the same skills.
good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the show. Hope you're all doing good. You're all happy. You're all doing fine. It's Thursday for most people in the world, in the US, UK, all that kind of area. Here it's Friday morning, so bright-eyed, bushy-tailed as usual, and I'm doing all right. Yeah, I'm sure. Thanks to everybody who firstly jumped over to the walking video. I hope you enjoyed today's walking video. We're back doing the walking videos, and we got more of those to come, hopefully, the next couple of days. Thank you all for being here. It's good to see so many people turning out. And did I just see a gift memberships or something like that? I did. There we go. Thank you, Pookie, for the 10 gifted memberships. You're so kind as usual. And Michael Song's become a Wart Warrior. Look at that. Awesome. I'm sure the music isn't coming through. Yeah, I've got it muted. Good. So there should be no music coming through for those alerts. All right. Are you excited now? How good was that song? Now I went through all the songs Michael sent me for today, and that one was my favorite because, I don't know, man. We all have doubt and stuff like that, and we're probably going to be talking about some of those topics today about ourselves and what we do and how creative we are, and I just love the raw honesty and beauty of that song. It's a really nice one. And we've got plenty of music to come. As usual, I'll say hello to you all at about after the second song, so we'll get to you. So don't go away. I'll call your names out, but thank you for being here. All right, so let's tell you how I found this artist. I think it was on Camp G-May, who we've had on the show for an interview. And boy, remember that one? That was a wild one. And I saw this guy standing up, and I'm like, geez, he's a little bit overdressed for YouTube compared to some of the riff-raff that we normally get across all the channels here. So thanks, Brad, for the skulls. And then he opened his mouth and started playing. I'm like, well, he's a really interesting artist here. What a talent we've found. And, he's popped up everywhere around YouTube, does his own shows on his own channel, playing live. You can see him around everywhere. He's a part of the Songwriters Anonymous group. And, I'm talking way too much already. So let's just get him on and get this interview going. Let's do it now. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show for the first time, and hopefully not the last, Michael Songs. Welcome aboard. How you going?
Hey, Jade. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very well. And I have to say straight off the bat, look, everybody, there's no guitar.
I know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my arms.
Well, that's the first question I got there for you. How does it feel to be someone who we've seen for, a period of time that's always got a guitar, and now you're naked? How does that feel?
Yeah. It feels awkward. You know how people talk about like a ghost, like if you've had something amputated, you can still feel it there.
A phantom limb.
I can still feel the guitar here always. And I just walk around the house like this all day.
I love that. Oh, man. So how does well, the other thing I wanted to ask too, and I know your amazing producer / wife, Maria, is always close by. I'm curious how she feels right now not having control over this production.
Yeah, that's a good question. I know she likes to have full control. She said she's freaking out. Yeah. Yes. Where's the Martin cam?
No, well, I got to meet her at the beginning too, so hopefully maybe she'll pop in halfway through the thing, because I got some questions about both of you. But let's get straight into it. Let's ask you the most important thing. Michael Songs, what does music mean to you?
Yeah, so I was going to practice an answer for this one because I knew it was coming, and then I decided not to practice an answer. That might have been a poor decision.
No.
But for me, music in all aspects of it, listening to music, writing songs, playing, performing, it's the only time that I feel like myself. Like I'm not thinking about how I'm being seen or even being vulnerable. Like I'm an introvert. If there's more than 3 people in the room, I don't talk. But when I'm playing a song, I'm just totally into the moment of that song, and I forget that I'm actually here. So it just brings me comfort. And it's the same for listening. If I'm listening to an amazing song, I forget that I exist as a person in a body, and I'm just kind of wrapped up in the amazement that music is. I don't know how or why it does that, the frequencies of it, the tones, if that resonates differently with your chemical makeup or what, but it affects me tremendously. If you hear a good song, I have to just stop what I'm doing and devote myself to fully to that.
I totally hear you. It's odd even here sitting in this situation and using these things called words because they just can't, they can never compete with music. And it's odd that out of all the possible ways for us to communicate, we chose English over music. I think that's maybe why we're
Yeah.
all at war with each other at the moment.
Yeah, could be.
Because, in the 70s, they used music to bring soldiers home from a war.
Hmm.
And it actually worked, you know. And here we are in 2023 and we're all tearing each other apart. And music is being discussed on how many cents we collect from Spotify.
Right.
I think we lost directions somewhere.
Somewhere along there. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and music is such an amazing language. Like you're having a conversation when you're playing, even if there's no words involved in it, just playing. So when you get an opportunity to play with other people, whether they speak the same language as you or not, you can interact. And I don't even know music. I never studied music. I half the time I don't know what I'm playing. So I play by ear. But when you're playing with other people, you're just sort of, instead of saying, oh, I really like what you're playing there, you just compliment it with what you do. And that tells that person that you like what they're doing.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Speaking of music, of course, do you recall the music that was played in your household by the family in the background or in the car? Who was it?
I
Did any of
do.
it resonate with you?
Yeah, I remember there was like Elvis Sundays on the radio, so it would just
Uh-huh.
play through the house. Yeah. Um, I remember the thing that resonated the most with me was kind of like the Motown stuff when that would be on, any sort of light R&B. And then there was this point Billy Joel did a concert in Russia that was like broadcast through the world.
Yep.
And we turned all of our clock radios in the whole house onto that station. So anywhere you walked in the house, we were just listening to that concert. So that's kind of the music that played the most in our house. My mom was a big Barry Manilow fan, so her and I used to sing the Barry Manilow songs together, which was fun. But
Oh,
that's kind of the music that played.
oh
Yeah.
man, I love synchronicity. You're not going to believe. So last night, so I put up an Instagram story for each interview, and I normally try and put,
Mm.
because you can put music to the little story. And it's that little clip with that I sent you with the times on it and stuff. And I put a
Hmm.
link on there and everything. And normally I'll look on Spotify to see if someone's got music out. And if someone doesn't, then I try to think of a song that somehow ties into the artist's name or what they represent. And last night I chose Barry Manilow, I Write the Songs. So
Nice.
there's a
That was
bit
one
of
of my mom's favorite too. Yeah. That's awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love that kind of shit. That's there you go. I
Yeah.
know conspiracies here in the chat. There's a bit of 11/11 shit for you, mate. Yeah, I love that stuff. So, do you
Nice.
remember the first album that you purchased with your own little pocket money as a little tiny Michael songs, and something that was
Yeah.
given to you as a gift?
So I don't remember the absolute first one, but I got a big stack
Oh,
of them
oh
at a mart.
yes!
Um, there was a
Wow.
mart near us, and they had old used records. And this Louis Armstrong 1956 concert, it was still in its wrapper. It was not opened. I think it cost me $7. It's a
Oh
double album.
man, look at that.
That was in the stack of the first albums that I spent my own money on.
Wow.
I couldn't afford a record player though, so I used to take them out of the trash when people would throw them away and fix them, because there was like two things that would go wrong and people were like, it's broken. And it was a drum that you could oil or a little band that could be replaced. So every like year when it would die again, I would go and look for another record player that was thrown in the trash and fix it up, and then I would get to play my records again.
Are you telling me, Michael, there used to be a time where you could buy consumer electronics and repair them?
Yeah.
What is this madness? I thought
Uh-huh.
you just bought something and threw it out after a year and bought
Yeah.
another one at a Black Friday sale.
Apparently that's what everybody else thought back then too. In 1987, they were just chucking them out in the trash, and I was like, "I'll take that one, please."
Absolutely. Brad Example was telling me the other day there's an actual YouTube channel of a guy who all he does is go to the back of stores and dumpster dive and get
Mm,
stuff and then fix it. And that's his whole YouTube channel. I think that's exactly what you. And
nice.
I want to go and watch that. That to me sounds like my kind of entertainment. Watching people go through
Absolutely.
trash, kind of like me going through my clothing. So what about I? Sometimes I slip this one in as an extra one. What about your first gig or like big major live performance? Who was the first one you went and saw?
So there's two significant ones that were right around the same time. My sister's a few years older than me, so she brought me to a couple concerts, and I was the kid that I liked Kool and the Gang and the Commodores and Lionel Richie and all that kind of stuff. And jazz, obviously, Louis Armstrong was my favorite. And my siblings and my friends and other classmates were always trying to get me into like the louder music at the time. So they would be like, you have to pick songs from these bands. And I would always pick like whatever band did the slow songs well. So I liked Skid Row because they had a couple of good slow songs. So my sister took me to see Skid Row and Guns N' Roses in concert right before the Use Your Illusion albums came out. That was my first like big concert at like a place with thousands of people.
I think
And
I
then
saw that
right,
tour myself too. Sorry to
did
interrupt.
you?
I saw
Yeah.
that as well. As Sebastian was
Hmm.
amazing. That was before Guns N' Roses lost the plot. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was a great show, and I mean we had terrible seats. We were behind the stage and above,
Ah,
so it didn't look great. But what was cool was you got to watch them go onto stage because the way where we were, it wasn't a tunnel that went right to it. So before they were out and everybody else saw them, we got to see them. So I was like, oh, this is neat. Like they're people right now. They're not the famous musicians. They're just people standing around getting ready to play music. And then they went out on the stage, and I stared at the back of them for an hour and a half.
I, I love the cheap seats.
Yeah,
It just
and then
reminds you of how poor you are. I've been there so
yeah,
many
exactly.
times, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You
go
just look at the
on.
people next to you like, yeah, you couldn't afford that either. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great to be down there.
Power to us.
Yeah, but the next concert, I don't know how we pulled this off. We got floor seats. And this was, I think, in 1991, and it was The Cure, right around when the album Wish came out. And my sister was a huge Cure fan. I liked them a lot. I wasn't as big a fan as she was. I just liked them. So we went to that together, and I was expecting it to be kind of like chill and moody. And they put on this amazing show. The lights and the energy, it was phenomenal. It blew me away. I was not expecting that at all. And I had all their albums, so I knew all the music, but just the way they delivered it in a live setting was much more of a show than I expected.
Well, it looks like, speaking of that, it's carried across because, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, you yourself, obviously take a lot of pride in your setup there. It was one of the first things I noticed when I saw you perform amongst the rabble over at Gmail Show. You come on and you have like a beautifully lit set. There's obviously things that are behind you that have significant meaning, which I love those kind of touches. I love things that have meaning. And you dress well. So that's something that none of us do here on YouTube, most of us. I know I just throw on a t-shirt each morning. How important is it to you as a performer to have a nice aesthetic? And what do some of the things mean behind you in that setup you have?
Yeah, so for me, the if you're on YouTube, the visual is just as important as the audio, and by audio I mean one, the delivery of the sound, but then two, also the sound that's coming out of you. It all sort of ties together. So we've worked step by step as we keep doing live streams to sort of improved lighting, and Maria has control when we're on live streams where she can adjust throughout. So as the light changes in this room or as the mood of the songs I'm playing changes, she can adjust that to kind of fit the tone of what's happening. And we got that second camera set up for the Martin cam because people talked about liking to see the finger picking and things I did. So that's, to me, it's just as important as the songs that I play. And as far as all the important stuff that we have on the shelf, yeah, everything up there means something. People's favorite is our giraffe. That's Willow. That's a very important giraffe. I won't bore everyone with the story because I believe they've already heard the story behind Willow.
I actually haven't heard the story behind Willow.
Oh, okay.
So you know what? So Michael, fuck everyone else. It's me and you here.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Please tell.
Yeah. So so we'll do the long version. So Willow started with Maria in 2005, was at the San Diego Wild Animal Park, and she did a tour, and she took this picture, safari tour. She took this picture amongst a lot of other pictures that she took, and then we got together, a few years later. After we were living together, we got a bunch of her pictures printed up on canvases. And this was one of them. And it always sat right outside of the room that I played music. So whenever I was writing songs and working on songs, I always looked up and I saw this giraffe. I didn't really think much of it until we moved to this new house. And we just picked a spot to hang it, which was in the dining room. And then when I started doing YouTube, I would do these Sunday sets where I would pre-record 3 songs and then just put them out on Sundays. And people started commenting on the giraffe that was above me. And so then we started to talk. Are you going to hand me the giraffe? The mysterious arm.
I was waiting how long it was going to be until your producer got involved.
Yeah. That's about as long as she can wait.
Wow.
So this always sat outside of the music room that I played in. And when we moved here, we put it in the dining room. People commented on, what's the deal with the giraffe? And that's when I realized, why do I feel so comfortable over in that spot when I was playing? And it was because the giraffe was there. Every time I look at this giraffe and know that it's there when I'm playing, it brings me comfort. And I didn't even realize that specifically until other people were asking about the giraffe. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's always there. I always feel comfortable with it. So then when we started playing out here, we brought the giraffe with us. And people started talking about that we should name the giraffe. So we were doing a poll on names and things. And then Maria, being the amazing person that she is, and she's like, instead of picking a name, why don't I contact the San Diego Wild Animal Park? So she got in touch with someone. They knew the giraffe based on the time that she was there. That they found out information. And they shared that the giraffe's name is Willow. So this is Willow. This is our giraffe. She brings me comfort. And then my niece is also named Willow, which we thought that was a cool coincidence. But sometimes if she's around, we'll refer to the giraffe as Sandy because she's from the San Diego Zoo. So Willow or Sandy.
Nice.
That's our giraffe.
Well,
story.
Thank you for sharing that, because there's a few other people who said they didn't know the giraffe story as well. So now they do.
Oh, okay.
And now there'll be so much more significance because, there's 40 people here. So thank you all for being here, you guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Bloody awesome. We love it. What anything else up there of significance that we can pick your brain over? I love this. It's show and tell, everybody. I feel like I'm 5 years old again. We're at primary school, and Michael, you've been called up to the front of the class.
Oh man, that was my worst. I was like, can I just hold something up?
Me too. I just used to take my clothes off. That's why I got suspended so many times.
A similar story, except for keeping all my clothes on. In high school, I failed English 3 times, and the reasons were there was 2 things that they made mandatory to pass the class. One was doing this job kit that you had to fill out with, resume and all that kind of stuff, and the other one was this presentation. And the presentation could be on anything. You just had to do it in front of the class. And for the first 2 years, I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting in front of the class and saying anything. So I failed. And the 3rd time I took the class, the teacher knew me from my freshman year. And she was like, all you have to do to pass this class is a presentation. And I'm like, I can't do it. And she's like, it can be on anything. I was like, can I just play my guitar? And she said, yeah, you can play your guitar. So I just brought my guitar. I said like 4 words. I was just like, this is my guitar. This is how I play it. And then I played the guitar and I passed the class. So um,
Easy.
sometimes high school can be easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can make it harder than it needs to be. I could have done that the first year and
It just
slid right
breezed on
through.
through. Yeah.
So I have 2 amazing friends, Casey and Elizabeth. For my 40th birthday, they designed a year-long game for me, and every certain amount of days I would get a new task that we called yarns. It was a new yarn that I had to do. Sometimes it was to get me talking. I had to go to like a coffee place and order a coffee and talk to the bartenders, the barista. I had to do a whole bunch of different things. Sometimes they were writing tasks. One of the ones that we did was to create an avatar for myself. So I just opened, I'm a handyman by trade, so I just always have little things sticking around. So I made this little avatar of myself, got the little hat on, I got a tie, and I made a little video that I'll have to try to see if I can find where that video is. But I changed all the instruments. I made a little banjo, I made a little guitar, I made a little drum set, all the things that I play, and I made a little video. So that's little me.
That's rad. Man, I love this kind of stuff. There's a bunch of channels I watch where one of them's a bit of a conspiracy channel, I have to admit, but all of his stuff behind him all tells a story, and I sit there and I get lost sometimes watching what's behind him, going, I wonder what the fuck that means. What is that? And he's always got the clock behind him at 11:11, all that kind of stuff. I just love people who put care into their backgrounds. We're going to jump into a song and then come back and talk about school and stuff like that. And then we'll say hello to everybody here. And because we're talking a little bit of nostalgia, I've chosen the nostalgic song. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this one?
Yeah, so I read a lot of songs about memory and the different ways memory works or can trick you. And so I have this sort of conflicting feeling about my memories as a child. I grew up in a not super great, safe neighborhood. But I still had fond memories of fun childhood, along with, all the negative things that might have happened from living there. So I wrote this song as sort of trying to find the balance between those memories. Like here's some bad stuff, but also you had some good stuff. You can choose to just focus on the good stuff, but let's not ignore the bad stuff that happened. So that's kind of what this song is about.
Awesome.
Finding that balance.
Awesome. Let's do it. I'm a fine believer in balance, my friend. Let's do it. Let's play this song. You ready, guys? Chill, relax, spend a little bit more time with me and Michael here and enjoy the tunes. Let's do it, and we'll be back shortly. We'll get the boom and then get it started. What do you say, hippie?
Boom.
Exactly. Let's do it.
All the streets were paved, all the streetlights worked. Oh, we never had it quite that good. Every street I knew by heart, we marked treasures on the maps the ladies gave out. Oh, I inside it took a hold. On our bikes in the rain, made adventures out of everything. Oh, I guess it wasn't all that bad. Still thought I had nothing to say. Funny nostalgia works its way on everything that shines a bit of grace. I miss that place. I saw pictures long ago, same kid, different road. Oh, some things never change, I guess. 40 years, give or take, a better man, less mistakes. Oh, I try my best to look ahead. it shines a bit of grace. I miss their place.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah, I'm sure everybody agrees that. What a beautiful,
you.
beautiful song. And let's say hello to all those people. Firstly, guys, if you are a member of this channel, you have two Michael Songs emojis that you can fill the chat. So feel free to throw the Michael Songs emojis around like there's no tomorrow and show the love. Fill the screen full of Michael's face. I don't mind. Covers up mine. So that's good. Let's say hello to you all. So, help me out here as usual. Just type something in the chat so I can find you and don't have to go scrolling like a mad person. Lady Campion, what's going on? Conspiracy. Maria's here. Pookie Ann. Russ is here. Robbie Stingle. We've got Gregory O'Sullivan. Chad Freeman. Pole Vault. Kurt Kasprick. We've got Michael Thompson, Independent Manny United. We've got Conspiracy, Blue Unicorn, Hugh Caldwell. We've got Viv Sparrow, Falcon Blues is here, Roque Alvanita. There you go. I almost got it right. Jesus. Jim Shannon, hello. Development of a Void, my lord. I saw Pete Johns. I saw there's Dylan DeGraff, Joe Glenn. I saw Barry Glenn. Who else did I see? Mr. Smith popped in. I saw Mr. Smith. Who else? I'm trying to think. Brad Example. There's Brad Example. Leela was here earlier. I saw Leela. God, I'm trying to remember all the names I've seen flick by. There's so many. Without doing the
Tremor Bear. Did we say Tremor Bear?
Thank you for helping me out, Tremor Bear.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling up now, just making sure I got it. It's so hard to get 40 people because they come in and out. You know what I'm saying? Reverend Rats Rides, hello. Yes, I've got you there. I caught ya. Hambo Hounslow, thank you for dropping in. Preston Smith has come out of the lurking shadows to say something. Hi, Preston. Good to see you. Welcome to you all. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me and Michael today. But yeah, I knew, Preston. I know you were lurking. I know you're always lurking away, Preston. All right, I'm going to change your name to Preston Lurkin Music. There we go. Blue Unicorn. I think I said Blue Unicorn. I think I got you all. As many as I can. So thanks for helping out there. We're going to talk a little bit about, now you mentioned briefly about not really having guitar lessons or anything like that. How the absolute living F did you get so good at finger picking? Because, dude, magical stuff. What has been your process of when you first got your first guitar? How did you learn? Take us through it.
Yeah. Okay. So, so my first theory is if you don't know any better, then you don't know that you're not able to do stuff. So you just go ahead and do it. You can figure anything out. So there is a short that we did in one of my live streams. We talked about I had one and only one finger picking lesson, and it was at a family barbecue. Someone gave me a finger picking lesson, and I cut that out of the live stream and I put it in a short. So everyone can check that out at some point if they would like to see that as far as specifically finger picking. But we went on vacation to the shore one year when I was 16 years old. My mom had this old broken guitar that was in our house. You literally had to take one of the strings and tune it with a vice grip. But I claimed it as mine because no one else was playing it. So we went down the shore. She got me a chord book. We went to a music store and she got me a chord book. I went back to the hotel because I don't like to be on the beach. So I just sat in the hotel until it was nighttime and I just looked at this chord book and I learned every chord, the whole book. I threw the book away. There was an insert that just had pictures like of fingers doing chords. And I spent that entire week learning every chord and how to go from like A minor to C. Okay, now I learned the A minor to C, A minor to D. And I just did that for the entire week. This is kind of what that looked like. If you can see that there. That's me learning how to play guitar with a chord book in a hotel room.
Michael songs there. Snazzy dresser back then as well too, it looks like.
And so yeah, I think if you don't know that you're not supposed to be able to do something, then there's no limitations on you mentally. You just kind of do it. So I just sort of found the way that I fingerpick. There's just sort of a rhythm, a cadence to my playing and singing, and it's just part of it. Like I don't know if I would be the same guitar player if I just sat and played guitar. To me, it's how my guitar interacts with the vocal choices I've made as well, and the cadence and rhythm that they both have, and one picks up the melody where the other leaves it off. That's kind of how I do that.
Nice. Yeah, when I got my first guitar, because I was a metalhead and all I wanted to do was go jin, 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 jin. So my first guitar, I just used to run around the backyard with it not plugged in, doing a lot of this to it. It didn't matter what I was doing here because it was all, metal's all about this at first. And by the time I could afford an amplifier, a little 10-watt amplifier, I could downstroke. So then it was time to learn that. But
Nice.
but going from an electric to an acoustic, I agree with you 100%. You got to change your entire style because you're now, if you're a singer as well,
hmm
you got to pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time. And a lot of people struggle to do that. Was there anything in particular you did to like help, be able to sing and play? Any tips you can give anybody? Because it's one of the questions I get from people. How do you sing and play
Yeah.
so confidently and effortlessly?
I wish I could think of a specific tip. It's just something that comes natural to me, but I think what it is, then this is just an assumption. You just, if you try to do it by doing your own thing when you're doing it, you will find the way that you can do it. So much like Jimi Hendrix would play this amazing guitar stuff while singing that I never understood. But the few songs where he wasn't doing the lead vocals, his guitar playing got a little more like tame. It just sounded ordinary. So
Yeah.
I was wondering if for him it was that same thing. It's like it sounds extraordinary to us that he can play and sing that way when he's doing it, but to him that's just his rhythm. So that's my tip is find what sort of your rhythm and your vibe is for yourself as far as how you can sing and how you can play. I've never been able to practice either, so like I just sit down and write songs. That's how I practice. So you just do that enough repetition, and you figure out how to do it.
Preston Smith has said, my newest student is struggling right now to practice. I think she doesn't like her guitar. Her parents bought her. I'm going to have to try one of my electrics to see if that helps her. Yeah, then that's the thing too. If you've got a guitar it's like, hey, if you got a girlfriend you think is ugly, you don't really want to go to bed with her. If that guitar doesn't fit you or it hurts too much, there are other options out there. That's an important thing too. I mean, so with music lessons, did you go to a school where like music was part of your curriculum or anything like that?
Only in elementary school, from preschool to fifth grade, the school had that, but I was never. I don't know if you had to pay money or if you had to. I don't know what it was. I was never a part of that program, so I never got to do it. And then I went to a Catholic school for 6 years, no music, and then I went to a vocational high school, no music.
What a
Um,
surprise. Catholic
yeah.
school, no music. No joy. No joy. Just repent.
Uh-huh.
Just repent. Everything's a sin.
Yep.
Good times there. Did you? So
Mhm.
you never got the chance to learn the recorder? That's the question that everybody's hanging to know.
I never did. We did practice kazoos in the car to the radio. That was as far as we got.
Kazoo is much cooler than a recorder, though. Recorder always was the
Mhm.
dog shit instrument to me. It'd be like, oh, here's the recorder. It'd be like, really? Come on. You obviously don't want me to take up music if you're handing me this. There's probably
Right?
some
Or they're waiting for that one person that does something amazing with the recorder, and you're like, you get to go to the actual music class.
Yeah,
Like,
there's somebody right now in like the London Symphonic Orchestra who's the actual recorder player going, excuse me? I'm in the London Symphonic Orchestra. How dare you? But that's what we do here on this channel, offend people. So was there any school bands or anything like that, high school or anything that you got involved with people that we started to maybe jam with people or not?
Yeah, just friends. So like I always wanted to be a musician, but I didn't know that you could. And then my cousin, who's a few years older than me, started playing guitar. And then I realized that regular people can become musicians. I thought you had to be like chosen. So then I kept saying, "Oh, I want to be a musician," but I couldn't afford any instruments. My parents couldn't afford lessons if I wanted them. So I never had those, but each year the group of friends in the summertime would say, "What do you want to do this year in the summer?" I would always say, "Let's start a band," and no one was up for it until this one year, 1992. I met my new friend Adrian, and he's still a friend to this day, and I still play music with him to this day. He had been taking 3 years of piano lessons and said his uncle and parents were buying him a guitar, and he was going to take guitar lessons. So when I said, "Let's start a band," he said, "Sure." So we just started making just terrible noise, and his uncle taught us that we should, just like you were saying with the fretboard hand, the two of us were playing together for a couple weeks, and then he's like, my uncle wants us to go, play with him, do some blues stuff or whatever. So we went to his uncle's house and we start playing, and he said, you guys should probably be playing the same notes. And we're like, really? That makes it sound better? And I was like, what are notes? I just thought you put your hand wherever you wanted to. Yeah, so it started off pretty rough.
How it should start off. My first band was me with a friend and a garbage band and two pencils for the drums. That was me on the drums, yelling.
Nice.
And my friend we made a guitar. We made a guitar with an old broom and
Awesome.
some wire from out the back. And boy, let me tell you, it sounded not good. But we thought we were fucking awesome. And that's all that counted.
Nice. Yeah, I always say, like, if you're having a good time, like that's all that really matters. Don't even spend time trying to figure out if you're good or not. If you're enjoying it, do it.
Absolutely. It's like the singer who, as a kid, sung into a hairbrush. You know, most of the time, that person who sung into a hairbrush for all those years, and their parents went, "You're an idiot. What are you doing?" They're now standing on a stage somewhere doing that. You know, that's an inherent love of something that you want to do. I find it fascinating. I used to teach vocals for many years, and that was one of my questions I used to have when I would interview, because I'd have to like interview people. I want to know that people are going to be committed, because I don't want to waste time. And one of my questions was, have you ever sung in your bedroom into a hairbrush? And parents would look at that and go, why am I bringing this child here? Who is this mad person? But you've got to have passion. Like Hugh Caldwell wrote, I think, a comment here, if I can scroll back and find it. It absolutely ties into this about you've got to want to play. Here we go. Hugh, you have to like playing guitar to be inspired to play it. This is why so many kids get forced into piano lessons. And they don't end up learning anything because they don't want to. You know, got to listen to your kids. So, performing. Do you remember your first time you ever got on stage in front of a group of? We'll do a two-pronged approach. First time you performed in front of people, like maybe, I don't know, a campfire or something like that. And then the first time you actually got on the stage in front of people who may be like paying for it.
Yeah. The first time I got in front of people that I recall, me and my friend went and just did a set. It was kind of like an open mic, but people got to play like full sets of like 20 minutes or whatever it was at just a coffee house. It was the same friend that I started to play music. I learned to play music. We went and did that, and it was terrible. And I had gotten sick that week, so I had a bottle filled with warm water and salt that I was trying to drink to be able to actually sing. And I don't consider myself a singer. I don't like to. I shouldn't say I don't like to sing. I feel uncomfortable letting people hear me sing. But at a certain point, I was like, I'm writing all these songs, trying to keep up with the singer in a band just wasn't working. At some point, I had to just sing songs myself. So that was my first time in front of people. And I was actually a drummer before that. I had always wanted to be a drummer, but I couldn't afford a drum set. So much like you said about the hairbrush, I bought drumsticks. I could afford those, and I would just bang on everything for like 2 or 3 years. And then And then I was a bass player because my brother bought a bass and he learned how to play Jump in the Fire from Metallica and a few other songs. And then he kind of put it away. And when I was like, this guy wanted to start a band, I'm like, I can't afford a drum set. So I went to my brother. I'm like, can I buy your bass? So then I was a bass player. But eventually I bought a drum set and I just, that's where I find the most joy is behind a drum set. But then I got back out again because I was still always writing songs on the guitar. And so we played that coffee house. And then the second part of that, the first time for money, I had been in a few different bands. We didn't really do things for money. We played a couple parties here and there, but this one band that we put together of people from multiple bands, me and the one guy really enjoyed writing songs together. So we actually called up this place and booked a gig before we had a band. So we're like, all right, we have 2 weeks to find a drummer and to convince this other guy to come play bass with us, and then to put together a 45-minute set and go play this gig. And it was on the waterfront in Philadelphia. And that went better than I expected, actually. I didn't think that we were very good, and we did. Over the 2 years that band was together, we got much, much better. It was by no means good, but it was better than what I expected.
It's interesting with live performance because we are our worst critics, always. And from my experience, and I'm sure anybody else who's here in the chat or watching on the replay, if you've ever performed live and you've gone and done a crap show, they're always the shows where everyone comes up to you afterwards and goes, that was the best show I've ever heard you. And you're just like, but you've seen so many other better ones. What is wrong with you? Is there something?
Yeah.
Did you fall on your head or something? Yeah, how good I can be. How do you? But it's somehow it's a phenomenon.
It always happens.
Yeah, and you can be sick as a dog, like get up there and be totally sick, and your voice is totally shredded, and you're compensating to, you can't hit those notes, so you compensate, sing an octave lower for that particular chorus, and people just go, "Oh, so much better." I'm like, whatever.
It happens.
Let's play a song, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more. I'm choosing A Certain Way. Do you want to tell us a bit about this song before I play it?
Sure. A Certain Way, that story is twofold. So I did songwriting sessions with a guy named Vance Gilbert. He's a very dear friend. He's a fantastic musician and performer. And during the pandemic, he started doing Monday night pajama parties on YouTube live streaming. So we were watching that all the time. And he kept talking about the fact that he gives these lessons. I didn't really think that I had any interest in it, not lessons, songwriting sessions where you like work on songs together. So we started doing it and still do it to this day, but we did it every week for about 2 years. And I wrote 50 or 60 songs in that time because every week I would write a new song for us to work on. But he was sharing a story about a song that he wanted to write. And it was from a show that he had seen in the early 80s, but then his version of what he wanted to do with it. And it was that there was these two... his story was that there was these two pilots that flew P-40, am I going to remember that right? P-47, the Thunderbolts, and that they loved each other, but they were these two men, but they always had to keep that separate. So he was going to, for that time period. And so he was going to write that song, and he saw, as he was describing it, he saw my eyes kind of get big and start doing the thing. And he's like, don't steal my idea. Are you going to steal my idea? I was like, I'm going to try not to. We literally got off the call. 10 minutes later, I had the song written. I sent it to him. I'm like, I'm so sorry. But then I sat on the song for 1.5 years. And, my version is different than what he wants to do. So that was okay. But finally, this March, after I had been like doing YouTube for a couple months, I just sent him a message. I'm like, I really feel compelled to like share that song, but I only want to do it with your blessing. So he gave me his blessing to share the songs. So I've been playing it. So yeah, for me, it's there's these two guys. They're in love with each other. They're in the forces. They're Thunderbolt pilots, and they're getting the message that you're supposed to be strong, powerful men. You're supposed to display that in a certain way. And so one guy sees that as, well, I have to hide this part of myself. Then I have to be the big tough guy. I have to go and I have to marry a woman and have children when I get done here. And the other guy is thinking, the most powerful thing that I can think to do is to let people know that I love you. So even in those situations, you can take some directive that's being given to you and see a totally different perspective on it. And the two people involved in the same situation can also see two different perspectives on it. And that's kind of what this song is about.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Because somehow some people think these days that the gays and the transes, they only started existing 10 years ago. We've just come out of the blue. There are people like that, you know, and this is a thing that has existed since the very dawn of man. And I'm sure this
I mean, it's evident in all history.
Animals as well. Like, you know, it's more natural than the shit we eat. So that is how it goes. Let's play the song, folks. We'll be back in just a momento. Enjoy the track. Let's do it. My mute's off. We're ready to go. Hippie, introduce it. Boom. Let's go. Wow. That renter crowd I've got. Shut up. Man, that was a loud one, that one. No, that's a beautiful song. I've heard you play that a lot, and I didn't realise that was what it was about. So thank you for writing something like this. Being a trans person myself, power, man. Thank you so much, because
Absolutely.
It's actually like coming up here on this channel this week for my opening hour this week. I hate talking about it. November 20 this year is TDOR, which happens, Transgender Day of Remembrance, where we count the dead. I say the dead. Sorry, let me rephrase it. The brutally murdered for no reason. And this year, guess what? We've outshined ourselves, humanity. Congratulations. They get a round of applause. Over 400 trans people brutally murdered this year. We've almost a record. Well done. Very sarcastic there for me, but I'll be talking about that, doing a show on it this week on Saturday for you guys, and then my rant will be about that as well too. So thank you, Michael, for writing such a important song. And I can tell you, now I'm just going to go totally debaucherous. I used to work in the sex industry, and some of the most muscliest dude I had as clients, as most powerful people that you would see who had high, powerful jobs, once they got in that room, ankles behind their ears. And that is okay. It is what it is. So let's move on. I don't know why I went down that path, but that's me. I lose the plot. Have you ever been busking?
No. Mm-mm.
I don't know why I thought you would be a busker, because people, it's a hard thing to go out and do. But I tell you what, it builds a lot of character.
Yeah, and Development of a Void told me I should go do that. And one of the reasons I don't, so I mean, when I was in bands, I felt comfortable because I felt sort of hidden. And when I started doing music on my own, for a long time, it was just a creative outlet for the last 20 years. So I did the stuff with bands in the 90s. And then when the year 2000 hit, I just do stuff by myself and with two other friends. We have a band that we write and record. And I was just kind of holding it all for myself as that creative outlet, and for me to express the way that I felt. I didn't really know that I needed to share it. So when I've started doing it now, I'm still terrified of being in front of people, being in front of the camera, but I'm trying to work on that. And busking is one of the things that we talked about doing, because yeah, it's a good training ground.
It really is. And you know what? I'm just going to put it out there and say it. I don't care what anybody thinks. You can disagree with me. You're wrong. You'll make the most money you'll ever make in the music industry busking. If you can find a spot where the acoustics are nice and there's a thoroughfare of traffic that comes through, like people leaving work or whatever, you can do 3 hours work singing 2 songs. You don't need a huge repertoire. So anybody who's thinking about busking, trust me on this. 2 songs over 3 hours, because the same people aren't walking past you, all right? And you can walk away with $300 to $500. It's very easy to do. I remember just playing Green Day's "Time of Your Life" some days for 3 hours straight, and boy, do I hate that song now. Let me tell you that, after playing it for 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a thing. What it helps you with, I find, is, you know, because people may think I'm an extrovert, but off this camera, I'm an introvert. I like to stay very quiet and keep to myself. But it helps with dealing with the randomness of people, because you never know what you're going to get. I've had people attempt to rob me. I've had people try to stab me. I've had people bring me food. I had a lady give me $100 one day who just watched for 10 minutes and handed me $100 note. The things that happen out busking are just amazing. More beautiful stories than ever playing live. So let's talk about fitting in this world. Because I did a show this week on my walkabout thing and talked about fitting into a tribe and finding your peeps. And I think everybody can agree with this. As a musician, as a creative type, we're kind of like a little bit odd and hard to get to know people. Has it been a thing for you throughout your life to struggle? Have you been a little bit of a black sheep, and how have you overcome this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, my entire life, I was always the weird kid, always the odd one out. I didn't behave like the other kids did. I didn't like the same things, so I was always sort of pushed aside. I was always made fun of for the clothes that I liked to wear, the music that I liked, all of those things. You know, I'm sure everyone, at least from my perspective, everyone has been bullied in their life at some point. So I don't look at that as anything special that I had to go through. But what I found that it did for me was it reinforced me being the person that I want to be. because I tried for 1 year, right around seventh, eighth grade. I was like, I'm going to dress like these other people dress, and I'm going to listen to their hard rock bands, um, even if I'm not all that into it. And so I wore like jeans and a t-shirt and a jacket for a couple months. And I was still the weird kid. They could still tell that I was the weird kid. They could see right through me wearing, oh, I wore sweatpants and a sweatshirt today. Look at me, I'm a normal kid. And they could still tell. So eventually
Normal.
I was like, if they're exactly right. So there was just a day where I was like, if I'm always going to be the weird kid, I'm going to stop trying to do things to please other people. I'm just going to be the me that I want to be. I'm going to sit alone in my room listening to records and writing songs and wearing whatever clothes that I want to wear and not worrying about it. I was still, harassed for that and ridiculed for those things, which seems bizarre to me, and always treated as like, oh, you don't drink, you don't do drugs, you don't party. I'm like, no, but I like the same music that you like. So can't we still be friends? Like, I don't know why those things were difficult. If you didn't portray a certain way. I've always worn kind of a suit in sort of multiple colors. I would wear plaid on top of paisley, and there would be people that were friends with me in school. But then if they wanted to hang out after school, and they would come to pick me up, and I would go out, and they were like, "Oh, uh, can you put something else on?" And I was like,
What?
"What? Like you, like this is me. You know who I am. Why are you? You're cool with it in school, but not when we're potentially going to run into your other friends, I guess." Yeah, so I had lots of those kind of lessons all my life. So I just at a certain point was just like, I'm just going to be me because I would much rather be made fun of for being me than try to be somebody I'm not to fit in and still get made fun of or put down or harassed.
It's odd the way, talking about school for sure. I'll give you an
Mhm.
example. I remember this kid at school, Klaus, his name was, so automatically he copped shit just for his name. But obviously the family they were pretty poor and they couldn't afford like the fancy clothes that everybody had. So, but everybody liked Klaus, but his footwear became the thing that everybody focused on, and he had these runners that everybody they started calling him Sparks because he had these cheap ass fucking runners from Kmart that cost like $5, and his nickname was Sparks. And I just didn't understand how a shoe, a piece of footwear, became something he can actually take off. And it's
Yeah.
not even attached to his body, became the focus of all the way through 6 years of school, to the point that I went out and my mum was going to buy me new shoes, and I asked my mum to buy me a pair of Sparks runners so I could be the other kid in class, apart from Klaus,
Nice.
who had Sparks. And the fucking irony was, nobody gave me a fucking ounce of shit about it. And then as soon as somebody gave him shit, I'd put my foot up in the air and go, I got them too, motherfucker. What are you going to do about it? And slowly but surely, people started calling him Klaus. And his nickname changed to Grouse Klaus. And grouse in Melbourne is kind of a term. It's not only is it a bird, it's a term for cool. So, but it is odd how people can focus on clothing. I mean, even
Hmm.
hatred towards like a trans person. It's like, I don't like you because of what you wear. It's how you look. Like
Right.
they're ladies' things. It's like, really? I don't know.
Right. It's clothing. Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's bizarre.
for me, being the black sheep was awesome. I would look at these people who I didn't fit in with and go, but you're all clones. Like,
Yeah.
and the interesting thing is too, look at most celebrities. The reason they're celebrities is because they're different and unique.
Hmm.
Like Lady Gaga wore meat on her face. But I'm sure at school everybody was like, that chick's weird. We hate her. Did you ever come across a situation where after you leave school, this is a phenomenon as well, the very same people who used to sit there and go, all of a sudden they dress like you once they're like wearing the same T-shirt. I never got that. I never understood how people do that.
Yeah, I didn't get quite that, but I got the same people that would make fun of me for years about the way I dressed and the way that I was, that years later when I was in a band playing bars and stuff around, that they would come to the gigs and they would tell me how great it was and how it was cool that I had a unique look. And like, I'm
Right.
too introverted to bring any of that stuff up. And I'm like, you made fun of me for like 4 years for wearing literally the same thing because I don't have money to buy new stuff. Like, this is what I had on when you made fun of me. Um, yeah. I mean, I don't get it. I'm sure we've all also been on the other side of that at some point, eh, mocking someone for something that's stupid, and
Oh
then
yeah.
I usually feel terrible about it later. Like, why did I say that? Like that was dumb. That probably made that person feel bad.
Yeah,
The smallest little thing.
and I think it's that when we do that, like it's a terrible thing. I've done that many times. I still I've jumped on the bandwagon. But I think it comes down to peer group pressure because there's this popularity thing that I don't know. We it's put in us that we have to fit in and we have to be a part of this system
Mhm.
that runs. I've said this on the channel before. We're born in a box in a hospital, and then we're taken home to a box, and then we're put in a school and there's a box, and then after that we go into another box of a job, and if we're bad, they put us in a big box with barbed wire around it, and then we die, and
Mm.
they put us in a box. And all I want to do my whole life is escape the fucking box because it sucks.
Yeah,
The box is bullshit.
absolutely.
Being an introvert, which, it's an interesting term, isn't it? Introvert. I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
And how do you define yourself, what an introvert is?
Yeah, so I didn't really know specifically that I was an introvert as far as that goes. When I started using that term, it was actually a few years after me and Maria worked together because we know that our personalities are different, and we know what the general terms are applied to, if you're quiet or if you're more outgoing. But what we discovered would happen is where you get your energy and what drains your energy. So the two of us, she's an extrovert, I'm an introvert. If we go to a party or something, I would always just stand quietly in one corner. And sometimes one person at a time would like come up and I would have a little conversation, but I would be very quiet. But just having people around talking would exhaust me. Just my energy would be drained. Marie, on the other hand, in those situations would just, you could see her just gaining energy and having joy. And then we would get home and it would be quiet and sort of dark. And then she would start getting exhausted and be like, I gotta go to bed. Meanwhile, as soon as we get home, I'm like, let's do something now. Now I have energy. I like because it's quiet. There's not all this activity. So to me, that's introvert is someone who's drained by all of the interactions and all of the sounds and the talking, but gets energy by being, solitary or in silence.
Dom Torregrossa says most kids mock each other because, in part, they are terrified about being singled out next. That is
Yeah.
so true. It's like, how many people out there have gone, yeah, I'm going to say something about that kid as well because I
Mhm.
hope they don't turn on me next. So if I say something, yeah, I'm part of it. And
Yeah.
the truth is, most people don't want to do it. They feel shit for the person.
Yeah. If you want to hear an amazing song that is representative of that perspective, Vance Gilbert, who is my dear friend, it's on YouTube as well. He made an album this year, and a song that he wrote about 2 years ago is called Black Rochelle. He put a video out for that, and it's that same topic of him as a child being on the side of like he finally lined up with these kids to making fun of this other girl. He's like, they're finally not making fun of me. That's the perspective he took for writing the song, and it is an amazing song. It is absolutely phenomenal.
There you go, folks. You've got some homework. All right. So every class has to have homework. So get to it. Hey, I want to say hello to somebody who's popped in. I know who's on a little bit of a holiday, and it's Camp G-Me. Hey, it's a Thursday night. We're gonna have a good time. We got G-Me here. Yeah. All
And you
right.
may.
Good to see you, Gary. Hey, we love you. Hi, Axiom as well. I just wanted to go back. I'm going to rewind a bit, just about the drums,
Mhm.
because I kind of let that slide and forgot. So you're saying how you had just bought sticks and you didn't have anything to play. Now imagine you were in this day and age back then, because now you can actually buy sticks that generate sound when you play them. Amazing how technology has changed. What are your thoughts on the way we are heading with technology and music creation and even this live streaming thing? Are we heading in a good place with this, or are we heading to a place of oversaturation?
Well, I think it's like anything, everything in moderation. So you can definitely go overboard. Everything is a tool. So depending on how you use it and how much you use it. And in my mind, as long as you're still using your creativity to make something, I don't care what tool you're using to do that. The AI stuff is impressive and interesting, but hopefully you're still taking the time to put in your thought and your view and your aspect on it, and not just like clicking a button or using one phrase to generating it and being like, that's fine, and move on. All of those things can be scary if you think like, okay, well, that means you don't need a real drummer or a real drum set anymore. But there's still always differences as well, so you can still always go back to it. I saw a video on YouTube of a guy recording. He just set up like, a mug, a table, a book, and he had this program set up where you could play all the individual things with microphones and then turn it into a drum set in his laptop. So he was physically playing like a drum set, but it was just tapping things. But instead of a MIDI trigger, it was just microphones picking up the audio of when he tapped something in front of that microphone. So people are just coming up with all of these brilliant different ways to use these tools in a multitude of variations. And I think that's the cool part for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Chad Freeman says, tools are to be used. Don't let tools use you. Yes, because a bad tradesman blames his tools. I've heard that somewhere before. All right, so I know I pivoted there for a second, but I want to come back to being an introvert. See, I class myself exactly the same as you at a party or something like that. I shut the fuck up. I am very quiet. I'm very reserved at parties, and most people will probably be shocked at that, but I save my energy for performance. That's been my thing, that I've honed my craft. And I used to think I'm an introvert for that, but now these days I just have programmed in my head that I just hate people in large groups because it's easier for me to compute. And I know when I walk around the city and there's heaps of people, all I do under my breath is, fucking get out of my way. Why are you walking so slow? God, I hate being around so many people. Stop mouth breathing. And that helps me get through walking through people, because if I didn't do that to myself, I'd be a mess. And, that's how I cope. Am I an introvert? Yeah, but not always, because, this is the thing. You've got to have a balance, like you said earlier, right? Mm-hmm. You get up here, and to me, I would not know that you class yourself as an introvert, because you come across as like you're a storyteller. You perform with no effortless, So there's got to be that balance. So do you think you're honest? I guess we're all on a spectrum, aren't we?
Yeah, I think everything is like that. You're always a bit of certain things. Yeah, because one-on-one, I feel comfortable. It's just when there's a lot of people around, or just a lot of sound happening. I was also a sound guy for 20 years, so I could control everything. So I'd have my headphones on and I could make the band sound however they wanted to, or however I thought would be best. And there's so many times in restaurants where I would picture this mixing board, and I would just try to turn down all the other conversations that are happening. And that, just like you said about having some sort of trick to do for yourself to get through stuff. So when I would hear all these conversations and cross chatter happening, and I would start to go into shutdown mode, and I couldn't focus on the person that was talking to me, I would envision that mixer, and I would start bringing down the volumes, take the bass out of that. There's some high-pitched sound bouncing off that stairway that I don't know why anyone else can't hear that, but it's driving me nuts.
Fucking engineers. Yeah. It's the worst thing to go to a gig with a group of engineers, because everyone's just going, yeah, that volume could go up. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Why did you go over?
I just sit there quietly, but every time the band, I would always work for a band, not like a venue. And every time we would go to some other concert or performance, especially if it was one of their friends playing, and we would be there, and if the sound was terrible, they would all just start looking at me. And sometimes they would be like, do you want to, like, we can, and sometimes they would. Sometimes the person would go talk to the sound guy and say, is it cool if our sound guy hops up to fix this real quick? Because you look like you don't know what you're doing. And I was like, I would never be brave enough to say that, but also this performer should sound better. And I will walk up and eliminate the feedback real quick. And, but yeah, so engineers, same thing, right? There's levels of everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, you're doing a great job, but I'm just going to walk up to the stage and turn this monitor, because that's why it's feeding back, and just turn it like a quarter of an inch, and all of a sudden the feedback stopped happening. So
I had a friend who used to do it, and I emphasize had, because I can no longer go to gigs or anything with this person, who every time we would be watching a band and they stand there, we've got our arms crossed with our booze and we're watching, and then you turn around and go, where? Oh no. And there they are standing over the engineer's shoulder going, yeah, g'day, how you going? It's like, oh my God, he's telling the engineer what to fucking do, man. Someone go grab him and pull him away. Fucking, we're going to get thrown out because this guy's an asshole. Like, let the sound be bad. We're here for the music, not the fucking engineer. It's ridiculous.
yeah. Yeah, it's tough to do, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a handyman too, so I walk into a room and I'm looking around. I'm like, someone needs to caulk these windows.
Yeah, we're all critics, and it just is what it is. I'm going to play another song, so we don't get squashed. And I'm pushing songs out. I'm going to play this one here. I'm going to do this one here. So it looks like it was for Worldwide Play Music on a Porch Day. Do you get involved in many of these things? And tell us about what this is, like these little days and stuff. Do you do stuff like this a bit?
Whenever Maria is my connection to the outside world, so whenever Maria tells me there's a thing happening and we should do something for it, I just go, okay. You tell me where to stand and play, and I will do that. I will trust you.
Nice. So what's this one for? This is so Worldwide Play Music on a Porch Day. Well, it explains itself, doesn't it?
Exactly. So it's just some sort of way for people to like get outside and play music. It didn't have to be specifically on a porch by their guidelines, but that's just the name that they used. And then it was like you would post it to this site, so everyone could kind of see stuff. But the whole point behind it was, even if you didn't post it there, was just to like get outside and play music, because there's a different kind of joy in that. Don't only play gigs, don't only sit in your house and play, walk outside and play in front of nature, so that was kind of the concept behind what they did. So, we went out on our porch, and that is literally what's behind me in this video, is what I was always looking at when I recorded my Sunday sets ahead of time. When I would sit in that dining room with Willow behind me on the wall, that's what I would be looking out at, is these trees.
Beautiful. It reminds me of my backyard that I take people on walks for. That's a beautiful, people are going to see it anyway. So this is called Circumstance of Night Shades. And once we play this, we're going to be coming back and talking about you and your beautiful wife, Maria, and your relationship and your producer's role and how you met. We're going to find it all out, folks. So let's let Hippie introduce the song with a boom, and then we'll see you back here shortly. Hippie, take it away. Boom. There we go.
Let's play music on a porch day. So hopefully everyone is getting the chance to get outside and play some music. We are playing on our porch. This is Henrietta.
Tomatoes riding on the vine, basil's going to seed. Since everyone's got the time for me, the crack in the windshield just continues to spread. Flowers on the windowsill, all dead. Busted up rocking chair, the view going to waste. When can I get back to living and just enjoy this place? Ooh, I know it's together, man. Just focusing. You've done it before, you'll do it again. Some nails and some elbow grease, that's all it'll take to get back to enjoying this place. Ooh, I know it's all circumstance. Wish I was a little more in control. Ooh, I know it's a second chance. Tomatoes ripen on the vine, basil smelling good. A change in perspective, I'm in a better mood. Go play music on the phone.
Well, hello.
Hi.
Welcome aboard. I love that song. That's my favourite song of yours. Now, I was thinking during that, wouldn't it be cool to hear you and Falcon Blueser do a collaboration together? Because you're both
Absolutely.
storytellers. You're both really top guitarists. I think very similar kind of vein. I think it would be a very interesting thing to see. So put a one in the chat, folks, if you think that's a thing that should happen.
It should happen, and Folk and Blueser is the reason that I'm here. I don't know if you're familiar with this. Yeah, so I just randomly started deciding that I wanted to share my music in live stream, so we were just doing it on our own. And then in, I believe it was April, the NPR Tiny Desk contest was a thing. So I entered that and started watching all the different videos that other people entered as well. And then I started seeing a lot of the same artists were also entering this thing called Gems in the Rough contest. I didn't enter that because I was still super nervous and scared. It was enough just doing one. But in watching all the videos for that, I came across Folk and Blueser's Level the Playing Field video.
What a song.
That he submitted for that contest. Yeah, it's a fantastic song. So I just started commenting on that and then checking out his other videos and was like, hey, man, I dig what you do. And then one day I saw he was live. So I just went over and hung out in the thing. And he was at that point checking out some of my videos and commenting as well. And then he just said, like, I see those people that were in my live chat. Like, those are all cool people. And most of them are other musicians. And some of them do shows that play your music. And some of them just do other live streams. You should check them all out. So that was my introduction to this community, was Folk and Blueser. So thank you, Al. You're awesome. And yeah, I would love to do a collab with him.
Yeah, and everybody in the chat agrees. Lots of ones, so that's cool. And for some reason, Development of a Void wants to know, Michael, do you and Maria share the same hair products?
I don't do we?
No.
No.
We don't really use them. We just shampoo and conditioner. That's pretty much it.
I think the correct answer is, are you okay, Avoid? You need a
No,
hug.
but I'm going to have to look into an affiliate option maybe.
There's always money
Some
to be
referral.
made. Yeah. So welcome, Maria. Welcome to the live streams. So glad that you joined us. So how did you two lovebirds meet? Let's hear the origin story. Hopefully it's a less grim than Batman's. But why is,
Certainly.
I don't know what's wrong with me. Take it away.
Most things are less
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah, why don't you go with the story? Because
So it was the 90s, right? No, 2000. 2000. I screwed up already.
We're off to a good start.
I'm a terrible
2003.
2003. I'm a terrible storyteller.
Wow.
2003, I was managing a band and we had a gig coming up and I needed to hire a sound guy because our previous one ghosted us. And I called a friend of mine who was a local promoter and I said, "Do you know anybody?" And he said, "Yeah, my friend's band just broke up. They had a sound guy. Maybe he's looking for work." So I called him, this guy, and hired him for a couple gigs, just one to test. He did a great job. And then we kept him on as our sound guy. And then we formed a good friendship from that point on. Do you want to take the story after that?
I think you're doing great.
And then, so there was a guy that I was dating who's now one of my closest friends. And we dated for 10 years. We broke up amicably. And after about a year, he said to me, we were actually at a gig for the band. He said, "Why don't you date Mike, the sound guy?" And I was like, "No, I'm not that kind of girl. I'm here for business. It's hard enough to get taken seriously as a woman in this industry."
Yeah.
I was like, "I don't want to be known as the groupie. Like I got stuff to do." Then a couple hours later, I'm like, "Wait a minute. Why don't I date Mike, the sound guy?" Like we were super close. We were spending a lot of time together. We just really enjoyed each other's company. And we haven't been separated since, actually. We've been pretty much literally joined at the hip since then. So,
That's a
and
beautiful
we've been married
thing.
now for 9 years.
Hmm.
He's good with the dates.
I love it when couples look at each other and go, "We've been married for 5 years."
Something like that.
Yeah.
I know other important stuff.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. And you are right. You know, being a woman in the music industry, still to this very day, it's a thing. I got to experience it firsthand, going from being in a male-dominated world and then come out as a trans woman, and then all of a sudden you see the money dry up and it's like, wow, nobody wants to hire me. And then you got the added thing on top of, yeah, well, it's kind of a woman, so we'll just treat it even worse. But, you know, perseverance and sticking strong to what you do, and that always overcomes. You know, if you're good at your job, if you're good at what you do, people can't deny you. That's the way it rolls. So now here we are, years on, married. I'm sure you've had many adventures in your life that we could go on forever with. In fact, I'm going to ask about this, travel. Have you guys traveled a fair bit?
Yes, we are world travelers. I'm a Sagittarius. My birthday's in a couple weeks, and travel is extremely important to me and my well-being. And I married a Cancer who his home is wherever he is or wherever I am now. So he just kind of follows me around. So we got married in New Zealand because it's a beautiful country and I just wanted an excuse to go there. And it also helped us to kind of be just the two of us because of his tendency towards introversion and my tendency towards extroversion. It helped us to focus on each other. And we also snuck in a trip to Australia, which was the most amazing thing. And I can't wait to come back.
That's if we don't catch on fire completely and just burn to a crisp this summer. Every year it's like, all right, here it comes, the heat wave. We're all preparing for it, cutting our grass and get ready. How much wildlife will we lose this year? But yeah. So is there a favorite place that you've gone back to many times for traveling?
Yeah, Iceland is our favorite place. We went once in 2017. We fell in love with the country. We drove around the whole island. We met a family that we became very close with, and then we went back for the next 2 years, 2018, 2019. The last time we were there, we spent an entire month there in June, so the sun never went down. For this family, I actually did some work there. We renovated their dining room, did some trim work and other things in the house while we stayed there. So we would work until we felt like being done work, and then the sun was still up. So we would go walk around the town and, watch the ocean come in, look at the birds. It was a good time.
It's beautiful.
It's wonderful when you find a place overseas that you identify with from your own country. Like me and Michael were talking about this before the show started. Mine's Thailand. So I've been there so many times. I dream of it. I want to end my life there, sitting on a beach with ladyboys all around me, serving me drinks, and that's my heaven right there. But travel is really important. I think it's one of the things especially from my time in America, when I spent 2 years in America, and I found a lot of people have not travelled. And it's concerning, right? Because if you look at the statistics in America, I think the last time I looked, 79% of Americans don't even own a passport to go travelling. That's outstanding. Like in Australia,
I was one of them.
In Australia, you're forced to travel and go to England and go work in a bar. That's the thing you've got to do. But how important do you think it is for travel to travel to get cultured?
I think it's extremely important. I did not, mostly because I thought I was too poor to be able to do any of that kind of stuff. I didn't have a passport when we met. I had never been on a plane. I live in New Jersey. I had only been as far west as Ohio, as far north as New York City, and as far south as Washington, D.C. for a school trip. But right after we started dating, she was like, we're going to get on a plane and fly to Italy, and we're going to spend 41 days in Italy, Spain, and a day in Morocco. And I was just like, okay. Yeah, and the best part of it for me, especially Maria is a late night person. I'm a morning person. So what would happen on this trip? We were there for 41 days. We only had 15 nights booked when we left for the trip. So just key spots that we set up rentals. We would just roll into a town, try to find somewhere to stay, and then if we liked it, we would stay longer. So I would wake up in the mornings and just like discover this town. Like, what is this town like? What's happening here? Just gather some ingredients, come back to where we were staying, make breakfast for when she woke up, and then I could say, okay, I found some cool spots, and we would go walk around and check out the culture and meet the people and do all the things. And then at night, she would like type up a little blog of what we did that day while I passed out because I'm a morning person. And then just repeat for 41 days all across the western coast of Italy, and all across the southern part of Spain, a day in Morocco, and then we flew up to my favorite city, Barcelona. We spent a week in Barcelona, and it was amazing.
I'd love to go to Barcelona. Oh, and just talking about travel, it makes me so happy. I remember riding motorbikes through Greece, going from island to island, and knowing that if I come off that motorbike and end up in hospital, I'm fucked because there's no. It's interesting in Greece, if you get injured and you don't have family, you're done because like the hospitals in Greece, the way they run is sure there's nurses. But the families bring food in and the families are around you 24/7. So if you don't have family in Greece and you're going to be alone and hungry, it's the way it is. I'm going to take a short pause for a moment because YouTube has kindly reminded me to put an ad in because these shows are YouTube being a content creator. They were ad supported. So I'm going to run the ad and let you know if you want to avoid ads in the future, you can sign up to YouTube Premium. You may or may not get an ad served, but it will be skippable. I'm running the ad right now, just so you know, and we will wait for you to come back because we're kind that way. But just skip the ad and you'll be good. Hopefully people are doing their thing. I'll do a little dance while we're waiting.
Got anything for shampoo?
There we go. Welcome back. We're done. That was my shit attempt at dancing. I'm going to play another track right now. We are going to play. Not sure which one what are we going to end with today? What do I choose to end with? I think we've got this one here. I'm going to, we'll play Flames on South Octagon. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, so this is another song about memory and how things can change with your memory and how you remember things and what you're told. So this is written about when I was a kid. There was a girl a grade ahead of me, and I had heard that her house burned down, and people were describing the scenario, and I could picture the whole thing. I could picture the house. All the people being around, and getting all that information. All of a sudden, I could picture myself as if I was there, even though I knew I wasn't. And then when I decided to write a song about it, I decided to take that a step further and write the song as if I was the girl in the situation and what her perspective is and how she might have gone through the same things. Because when events like that happen, everything's so fast, you don't even know what's happening. And then later, other people give you details. And then that kind of inserts into your own memory as if it's what actually happened to you. So that's how I wrote that song.
Let's play it. We'll be back in a moment, folks. Enjoy the track. Make sure all my things are set. Mute's on, done. And take it away. Boom. Hippie, boom. Let's go.
I can feel the heat upon my face. I can feel the cold ground through my feet. Everything I have turning to ash as I watch on in disbelief. And there's no running back inside to choose what will survive. I will be thankful for my life a little later on. See the lights up on the brick. Through the smoke it's getting thicker, flashing red and blue, but I don't see you. And there's no running back inside to choose who will survive. I will be thankful for my life a little later on. Monday morning comes, I was overwhelmed before the morning bell. My friends gathered around, they all want to know what happened back inside. I can't look them in the eye, 'cause I don't really know. It all went down so fast, the minutes it was done. Recounting smudged and blurred between what I recall and what I was told. But here it goes. I could hear the shouting down below, calling everyone to get outside. I couldn't make it to the stairs, there was too much smoke. I could smell the burning carbon fibers, the taste of charcoal in my throat. It called me to my window to jump. I pushed through broken glass. Now I'm sitting on the edge of that old window pane, the one with all the peeling paint. I feel the heat upon the back, the cold air on my face. I know all this will take a leap of faith. For
She vanished.
He
Hey,
likes being behind the camera.
thank you, Maria, for coming and joining us for that last segment. It's so nice to meet you and have you on the show as well. Man, another great song there. Another fantastic song, you know.
Thank you.
It's always interesting for me here because I'm always at the shows. I don't always interact in the chat because, I do so much YouTube myself that I'm a little bit YouTubed out, but I keep everyone on the background downstairs on my TV. So I'm always hearing you sing, but when I focus on someone and have them on the show, I spend, the week listening to their music, and you have some really beautiful songs in there, So that
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
leads me to my next question. Are we going to get some studio recorded stuff from Michael's songs? Is this a part of your roadmap?
That is the hope and the expectation. So right now, I mean, the first thing that I've done, as far as solo stuff myself, that's anywhere close to any kind of recording is the Unhuman video that I did for Chad Freeman's Halloween show. I recorded that in GarageBand my first time, which involved a whole lot of looking up Jade, Starr, and Pete John's videos to see
Oh,
how
God
do you
help you.
do all this stuff. Oh, it was helpful because anytime I was like, I don't even know where this button to do this thing is, it would be in one of the videos. So that the plan is to do some recording and make an album. At the very least, I'm going to start by trying to do stuff at home in GarageBand, even if it's just to feel out how I want the songs to be, because studio time is expensive and we don't have money.
Stay at home.
If I can do it, if I can get the quality. The one benefit to if you have the money to be able to do the studio is, I could walk in and just focus on the music. That's the one frustrating part to me about doing the digital stuff is I keep getting taken out of the performance when I'm like, why does GarageBand keep cutting off while I'm in the middle of playing the song? And then I realized it's set 64 bars and the song was longer.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm so used to old school analog recording. You just hit record and go. So yeah, there's a lot of learning to do there.
There's definitely an art to recording music and engineering yourself. And I struggle with it still, of being able to capture moments because, again, you become the engineer and you become over picky about stuff, and then you finally get to a performance and go, fuck, man, why can't I get this? I spent so much time getting this sound and now I can't even play it. But I keep at it 100%, because it is worth it in the end, and save that money. Because you can spend all the money in the world and go and get an engineer and go into a studio, but it doesn't mean you're going to get a good production. Trust me, I've been in many studios, and it turned out I paid an asshole to record my music, and I didn't get along with him, and we clashed through recording, and the music came out like that. So hitting a studio isn't always the be-all and end-all. So that's very exciting, very exciting. My one suggestion is, if it is overwhelming, stick to an EP. Keep it simple, 3 songs. Then you're not, from my experience, doing a full album, does the blood pressure rise? Because, it is because you put these expectations on yourself to create something amazing. And you mentioned that song, and we're ending with that song today because it's a fun song. It's great production, so we are ending with that today. All right. So, what about the future of the YouTube channel? Where are you going to go with this? Because currently, I mean, you're doing now 2 shows a week. You're constantly on everybody else's channel. How is this regime? How is this working out for you? This calendar of stuff, and what can we expect for the future?
Yeah. So, I do my live streams the first and third Wednesday of every month, and that's sort of the long one where I do play as many songs as I can squeeze into that. Normally somewhere between like 18. I think our record was 27 original songs. I only do original songs, so if you come there, that's what you'll hear.
I love that.
We're sticking with Sunday mornings at 12 noon Eastern, which we started doing by accident. I used to do these pre-recorded ones, just 3 songs, record them and post it as a premiere video. And then this one week, it was so hot here, and I just kept trying to record. I couldn't get the songs down. I'm like, you know what? it's easier to just live stream. Why don't we just live stream this week? So we live streamed that 1 week, and it got such a response, and people seemed to want it more. So I did that for a couple weeks, and then I kind of did a little poll and was like, do you guys want me to keep doing the live streams, or should I, do the pre-recorded? And everyone likes the lives. So we're sticking with lives on Sunday mornings at 12 noon Eastern. And then me, Dom, and Chris are going to be hosting Saturday Night Alive is what we're calling it, starting this week and running up until Gmae comes back. So Gmae is still doing a bunch of work, but he's taking a break from the open mic thing on Saturday nights. So we're going to just fill that space. And we're going to have showcases at the beginning of each show. So 10 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays. Me, Dom Torregrossa, and Chris Lane Sr. will be hosting it. At the beginning of the show, we're going to have some people up that we invite, and they're going to do little 15-minute sets. And then after that, we're going to drop the link in the chat and do an open mic for the rest of the night. And yeah, whenever I have the energy and the availability we only have the one laptop in this house. So if Maria's not on a meeting and someone's doing an open mic or something, I'll pop up there too.
Awesome. God, Gmae going on tour across America. God help America. Didn't I hear him say he was going to Disneyland?
Oh, maybe.
I'm sure I heard Gmae say I'm going to Disney. I can just imagine him like live streaming. Hey, we're having a good time. We're in Disneyland. And then his Chuck puppet pops up, Charlie. Oh God!
Oh, Charlie Wood.
Yeah, I can just imagine it now. He's a wild man. I want to just mention too, I saw some members join. I think it was Michael and Dom, and also Ed and Fish sent a super chat. So thank you for that. And previously, thank you, Pookie, for the gifted subs. I say subs all the time. I watch too much Twitch. Gifted memberships. Very kind of you. We are in the final stretch. So I'm going to hit you with first the new question that I ask everybody. Michael, if you were stuck on a desert island and you didn't have a talking soccer ball, what would be the album that you could take with you to help you get through those times? You're prepared. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got a whole stack here. I figured I would think. I have an album that I'm sure that Maria is sick of hearing. This is my going to sleep album that just brings me peace.
Wow.
This is Tom Rush. Tom Rush.
That album looks like it's had some use as well.
I've played these albums hundreds and hundreds of times. And then when CDs came out, I bought a lot of them on CDs as well. And now I can just play it on my phone. So Maria is probably tired of hearing this album. But this, oh, you still love it? Okay, awesome.
No,
so we'll listen to it tonight.
She's in it for the long haul, mate. The long haul.
Yeah, this is my favorite relaxing album.
Awesome. It's interesting that you have been holding up vinyl. I wanted to ask you this, and I forgot earlier. What do you think about this resurgence of vinyl? Because, I mean, it's happening. I'm a part of a whole bunch of vinyl community groups. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Is this a step forward or backwards for the music industry, in your opinion?
So I think it's a bit of both. So I agree with the scenario. Vinyl's not necessarily the better audio quality, but here's the reason vinyl is great.
Yeah,
you get all this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is Roy Wood Boulders. I don't know if a lot of people know about this album. This guy, he did all the instruments himself except for the harmonium on like 2 songs, and he has pictures of all of those. So I love this part. I love the artwork being prominent again. I love the fact that you get all this extra information, that it's a large size for you to feel like when you put the music on. So what we were talking about for ourselves when I make an album, we're thinking about doing something like this, but maybe still just putting a CD inside. It doesn't have to be vinyl, but just something that's larger and more intimate that you can really get in when you're listening to the album.
That is a fucking awesome idea. I've been thinking about that as well because I'm close to getting my album out and I know I'm going to release vinyl. Here's the problem, in my opinion, with vinyl. I'm all for the same reasons as you. It's the presentation. That's what I grew up with, getting the thing, holding it, opening up, the lyrics, everything.
Yeah.
CD's just not the same. The problem as an engineer myself is, especially mastering, the whole mastering process is completely different. So you then start having to send to the person who's mastering two completely separate mixes, because you have to remove a shitload of the bass out of your track, because the more bass that's in your track, the grooves in the vinyl, the needle reacts to it in a negative way, and that's when you'll get a needle jumping out of the grooves because of the bass.
Yep, absolutely.
And there's so many people now used to mixing for digital and 14 LUFs and all the stuff that you do for Spotify. It's going to be hard for people to understand how to mix, and their songs is going to sound relatively worse than mixing it for digital. And, even like when I master a song, I get this all the time. Like, for example, the Chandler Brothers, the first time this happened, I mastered their song, sent it off, and they released it, and it was all good. And then Hippie played it on his show, and he's not streaming in stereo. So half the stereo field is gone from the song, and they messaged me going, did we upload the wrong song? What happened to our song? Half of it was missing. It's like, no, mono loses all that stereo field. And the same thing's going to happen with vinyl. You're going to have two mixes, and that's going to confuse a lot of people. But apart from that, I love vinyl. Vinyl is just sexy, and especially colored vinyl. Oh, give me some of that. All right, I'm going to hit you with the last question. I hit everybody, and thank you also. I saw a couple of super chats from Leela and development of Avoid Yes for the introverts. And thank you. Leela says, thanks for the inspirational and great stories. My last question I hit everybody with, Michael, is as follows. If you were going to give advice to somebody just starting out making music or just being creative in general, what would be or when would be the best time for them to start doing so?
Just as soon as you have the thought of it, the toughest thing for me about feeling worthy to share, it doesn't have to be a certain quality. If you're creating some sort of art, just share it with people, because it can impact someone and will impact someone or many people in a positive way. So just do that instantly. Don't wait for some sort of certain level of it. Don't wait to be what you think is exceptionally skilled at it. I don't think of myself as a good singer at all, but I feel like I can deliver my songs better than if I had to explain it to someone else, because it's not just the words and the music, it's the expression of the song. So if you make art, just share it and start now.
100%. I ask the same question every interview for the same reason, just to remind people, fucking do it. Just do it. Just be Nike. That's the way it rolls. Okay, so everybody, if you're watching this on the replay here in the live chat, all the links to Michael are down below. So go and click them, subscribe, go set reminders, go check out his live streams, catch him on Gme when he gets back, and now with Dom and Chris, who have their show. I want to thank you and Maria for coming on the show. I want to thank you also for letting go of the guitar, because it's not always easy, man. We all have our securities, and because just to be candid, you asked if you could play some songs on here, and I was like, no, I'm putting my foot down. We get to see you do that all the time. We want to know the man behind the guitar and the woman behind the man. And we got to do all of that today. So that's fantastic. I'm really happy that you came on. There's a hand in the background.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for inviting me, and thank you for making me feel very comfortable not having the guitar on and not just hiding behind the songs and the performances. So this was fantastic. I had a wonderful experience.
Yeah, I've had a ball too, and that's all that counts if I have a good time. No, that's not true at all. But please hang on at the end of the show. We'll play the song and all that, and I'll say goodbye to you off the air. I want to thank you guys, everybody in the chat who's come along. Thank you for all your great comments and just camaraderie, and for being such a wonderful tribe. I love this tribe. I love, feeling a part of something, and I'm so glad that you all feel comfortable enough to come and hang out and spend a couple of hours doing this. thing that we do each week. Let me tell you before we go what's happening next week, because it's something exciting. We're not having an interview here next week, but we are having the official launch party of the charity album that Russ 8889 has been organising for several months. We will be playing all of the songs from the, I don't know if I can say all of this yet or announce it, but we will be doing that, and we may not be playing the entire songs, may just be playing like a couple of minutes of each, because there's 43 songs, guys. So
that's fantastic.
That's going to be happening, and you know what? Here's the worst bit. I haven't got my song in. I'm the last person, and I've got to get it in today. So, but it's been so tough, man. I stupidly took on these walking videos and all this, but I have it almost done, and we should be great. All right, today, hopefully. All right, and coming up, let me tell you just what's coming up on the channel over the next couple of days. Tomorrow, we are doing the app date. That is happening tomorrow, where I'll be taking a look at Black Friday sales for iOS apps. If you want to know what's on sale, there's so many apps on sale already. It's bonkers, and we're not even at Black Friday. What happened to Black Friday just being one day? Now it's just like 3 weeks of ridiculous prices. Then for the opening hour this week, we're going to be singing, let me put this up the right way. There we go. I'm going to be singing some original songs, talking about dedicating all these songs to the 400 plus trans people who have been murdered this year for no particular reason whatsoever. So come and join me. It's going to be a really heartfelt one. That's that. And lastly, let me tell you about something really heavy that's going to happen. So the rant is going to be a little bit different this week. I think that says it all. November 20 is Transgender Remembrance Day. I try not to shove being trans down your throat every 10 minutes, but this one day a year we count the dead, and I'm going to be reading their names out and having a rant, because I don't really want acceptance or anything like that. I don't really care if you believe. Just stop killing us, okay? It's a simple request. All right, that is what's happening on the channel. That's what's gone down today. Thank you all for being here. Love you lots. We're going to go out with this particular song, which you did for Chad's thing for the ham. Was it for ham that you did this? Or
Yeah, his ham Halloween show. Yeah.
Awesome. So this is Unhuman. Tell us a little bit about how you got all this thing together.
Yeah, Chad is fantastic, and he's been incorporating me in all the different things in the community. And he kept asking me to, if you have a song for these different special shows that he was doing, and I just never did. And then I felt bad for saying no, because he's spectacular. So he asked about the Halloween show. So I was like, I don't have a Halloween song, but I'm going to write one. So I wrote one. We recorded it first time ever using GarageBand. And then we used a few different programs to kind of edit the video together. So me and Maria worked on the song together. And then I recorded it, the audio, and got her feedback. And then we worked collaboratively on putting the video together. So it's our first, for real music video. And we just tried to make it kind of cute and a little spooky, a little campy.
What more do you want? All right, guys, remember, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better, and we'll all rise together, and we'll see you around the YouTubes. And I'll see you off air after all this finishes, Michael, to say goodbye. Unhuman by Michael Songs, as Hippie says, to introduce every song. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. You got 4 or 5 booms. Let's do it right now.
Nice.
See you next time. Oh, yeah.
Every day when I get up, I tie this flesh onto these bones. I hang this skin and hope it looks human. I try my best at fitting in, although it isn't happening. I smile a smile I'm mimicking, and who's think about just giving up, but the hunger starts building up, and I'm moving out the door into crisp fall air. I smile and wave, nobody cares. I catch your eye, you back away, I'm unhuman. It's this old conditional. Your fear is real, you're my next meal. We'll all rise together, 'cause you make me shine better, and we'll all rise together